Hey, friends. Very exciting, very auspicious time happening right now. There's so many different celebrations taking place. There's so many different celestial happenings moving in the skies right now. I want to speak first to that of the upcoming eclipse on this coming Tuesday. Along with that, of course, as with an eclipse comes a new moon, a solar eclipse comes a new moon. And this isn't necessarily this is the darkest new moon of the year. This is establishing a period where what's happening from now through basically the end of eclipse season. So after the next eclipse happening on March 3rd, we can kind of see that energetically play out until about March 11th. And then, of course, after that is the new year, spring. So, as we creep in on this darkest night, we are not only moving through this energy, we're moving into that of March 11th, into that of spring. So, these next 30 days, 40, are going to be very, very potent for what you're absorbing, for where your attention is, for what you're doing out of devotion to yourself. I will move us through a little bit of what I will be doing for the next 30, 40 days at the end here when I wrap up what we're chatting about. But if you could have some water, a journal, also a little piece of paper and a pen, we might be doing a little bit more of a ritual here for that of eclipse new moon energy. We're also seeing huge celebrations taking place. I believe, and my apologies if I'm getting this wrong, but it's Lent that is beginning. It is MahaShivaratri in Hindu culture that's happening today and all night. And really, what that looks like in the wheel of the year, in the energy of Shiva. And I'll give you just a very brief overview on this before we zoom back out for the eclipse, new moon, lunar new year too. So Mahashivatri is that of when Shiva, or that conscious spark, ignites and enters the seed or the womb space, the great void. So it's during this very auspicious night when it's very quiet, it's very inward, and it's being present and still within that great void. And that also goes for us as we are, you can almost envision that very soil, there's a seed, and we're still in the seed and we're getting ready to emerge. So what's happening here at this pivotal point in the wheel of the year, in the kundalini of the earth, is that we are getting ready to express ourselves in more of a solar expression. So more of a masculine, more activity doing action. This is also happening congruently with that of the Lunar New Year, Chinese New Year, which I'm sure most of us have heard. We are closing out the season, the year of the snake. So there's been just mass amounts of shedding and letting go. And we'll continue to shed and let go and release. We'll also want to be cognizant and recognize that as we step into the year of the horse, Year of the Fire Horse, I've heard it called too, but it's that horse energy where it's very forward moving, very fast paced. There is a fire element behind it. There's a little bit of an air element too. So when we're looking into moving into this energy, which is happening the same day, February 17th, this coming Tuesday, we will want to, utilize that energy very resourcefully. So many of us, I know personally, I can speak for myself, I want to just go and do the thing. Like there's so many things I want to do right now, and I'm really having to consciously sit back and allow the feminine energy to still balance the masculine because we're going to have this for a whole year. So, how can we very mindfully use that time of inspired action? Use that quiet. That's what we're doing, right? We're sitting in stillness, we're sitting in feminine, the void, in that motherly aspect of the womb, and we're waiting for pings. And it's Shiva that comes through as these pings, like, oh, spark of inspiration, spark of inspiration. So, how can we really recognize that and work with this energy for the next 40 days in particular, as well as the whole year? So, really, that's kind of what we're seeing. There's also other energies taking place, which I do want to touch on because things do feel absolutely chaotic. There's insanity in the collective. There is a lot of confusion. There's a lot of dissociation. And I don't mean to put those terms on there like I know exactly what they mean, but that's just what I'm observing. And it's going to feel exhausting, truly. So, really, how can you hone in on where you are right now in your individual person, in the self, so that you can come out with a little bit more energy to be able to be in service, right? So let's actually just ground for a moment. That was a lot of information. There's a lot happening. This eclipse portal is always confusing. So if you feel as though you're taking two steps back, that's okay. This too shall pass. Let's take a big inhale into the upper belly and an exhale through the mouth or the nose. Just allowing yourself to really feel into that. Like, what are you feeling right now? What's the body telling you? I want to acknowledge that maybe decisions that you have made, that you will make, might need to be adjusted after eclipse season. So, this might not be a great time for big, heavy decisions. From my perspective, if you've already made the decision before eclipse portal started last Monday, let's say, and things are beginning to solidify, I kind of take that out of the context of the eclipse portal itself. But any new decisions? There's also an element of this Saturn that has just entered Aries. And it's actually a really beautiful, beautiful symbol as we move into horse energy. This Saturn, this disciplinarian, this teacher, guiding structure force enters that of a very more earthy Aries, which, as my dear teacher taught me, Aries is more of the energy of being born. Like it's very messy, it's very fiery, but there's such a beautiful innocence in it. So, really allowing the innocence to come through in whatever structure we are beginning to trickle into our field. So, how are you going to use your will with integrity? Continuing to breathe into the upper belly. Tomorrow, you may notice more of the Aquarius energy. There might be sudden changes, there might be emotional breakthroughs. There's an element here of I can't keep pretending. And of course, as we move into Tuesdays, solar eclipse, new moon, huge endings, and new beginnings. Welcoming change without a sense of panic. Maybe trying on what's trying to be liberated in me. and allowing ourselves to respond with just a little bit more wisdom as we move into this eclipse season. So, as you think about that shedding, that snake, that releasing energy, when you feel it's time and when that comes to you, if you'd like to sit with it, really, what are you releasing? What is done now? And this is a ritual I'm going to offer and suggest is to write this down on a piece of paper. I'm going to fold this piece of paper in half. I'm going to set it in my sacred space with probably a candle or something that you're finding instrumental to use right now. Maybe a piece of rose quartz, a pendulum, setting that on top of this. And then after the eclipse on Tuesday, basically immediately after, taking this piece of paper and either burning it, ripping it up, just disposing of it in a very intentional way for you to really, really release whatever concept, theme that's happening for you. So I'm going to give just a few moments to go ahead and write what it is. And maybe a couple different things come up for you, and that's okay too. And then either placing that where you'd like it to set through the eclipse, or setting it aside to set that wherever it needs to go later. Really allowing this to be the final shedding period. Taking 3 more deep inhales and exhales here. And then releasing that concept. We'll go ahead and bring ourselves into an easy seat. I'm just going to move through a breath, move through a technique rather, that I've been applying to my natal chart. I've been following my natal chart and moving through this monthly, but I'm going to apply this for the next 40 days in my practice. Because really, what we're cultivating now through the next 40 days is what we are going to be birthed into during spring and for the rest of the year. So, staying very intentional here, we're going to go ahead and do this really beautiful inhale. And our inhale will kind of look more like a seated cat cow. We'll inhale, and we're going to allow the spine to flex, maybe even bringing the palms up, maybe even bringing the chin up. And then we're going to hold here, suspending on the inhale for about a count of 7. And then we'll bring the hands back to the knees and exhale to arch through the spine. And we'll do this all within about a count of 7. So we'll inhale through the nose for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then we'll hold at the top. If you'd like the chin to stay parallel, if the neck is compromised, we'll hold here. 6, 7, and then we'll exhale for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Finding your breath and your timing. Inhale, hold, and exhale. As we hold on that suspension on the inhale, we'll want to also engage the Muladhara chakra, the Mula Bandha root lock. Inhaling and hold. And exhale. This practice comes from Kelly Marie Kerr. Let's move through 3 more here. And taking your last one and coming back to stillness in the center. Let's bring the palms of the hands face up. Just imagine this very beautiful white light bathing you. Giving ourselves grace as we enter eclipse season, giving ourselves purpose and intention with where we move, what thoughts we grasp, what we absorb. Allowing yourself to just notice yourself in this void, this place of neutrality, and just being open to what comes through. Taking one more inhale and exhale here. If you'd like to softly open the eyes and locate your journal, you're more than welcome to. Jotting down other notes, or if a different word has popped up, and then I invite you to bring the hands palm face down on the knees and just begin to roll through the neck. Reversing directions when you feel called. Taking a couple more here. Coming back to stillness and rolling through the shoulders. Reversing directions and then moving into a Sirion, rotating around the sit bones. Bringing that awareness from the top back down into the body. Using the hands to help reverse directions. Inhaling, slowly circling back to center, back to stillness. Let's stretch the legs, the feet out in front. Life nerve stretch through the back body, toes point up. Exhaling to forward fold and breathing long, slow, and deep here. Really allowing the breath, the body to feel you on the earth, to feel you grounded. Really taking care of yourself. As the pace quickens and time basically accelerates all around us, remember you are not required to feel pressure to rush. Continuing to come back into your breath. Taking 3 more inhales and exhales here. And then walking the hands back to center, bringing the legs back into an easy seat. We'll bring the hands down by the side. We'll inhale, alternate one hand, inhale up and exhale down. Making this as soft or as fast as feels comfortable in your body. Allowing yourself to linger if you want to stay on one side longer. Breathing into the side body. Taking 2 more on each side, wherever you are. And then let's inhale both hands up, suspending through Mahabandh. And exhaling the hands through the aura, re-grounding, reconnecting with earth. Let's inhale, the left hand comes up. Exhale, lightly looking over the right side. Let's hold here in spinal twist for a moment. Taking one more inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale to center. Inhale, right hand comes up. And exhale, left side. Inhaling back to center. And exhaling, let it go. Allowing yourself to softly begin to open through the eyes. Just allowing that light, that form to come back into view. Reminding yourself there's no rights or wrongs with how you move through the next 40 days. Moving with intention, with purpose, with ease, A reminder that you're exactly where you're meant to be. Wishing everybody happy eclipse season. Namaste.